Hello, Algebra scholars, and welcome back. Today's focus is on factoring quadratics by completing the square. So completing the square is a strategy for factoring, and it's also a strategy for solving quadratics. So this is one more tool for solving quadratics. So please note that the document I'm currently showing you is the example. It looks like the document you will be typing in, but this is my work and I'm going to show you, I'm going to model for you how I would like the actual document filled in. So please note that this example, as well as this second example, they're not the same ones as yours, okay? I'm just modeling it for you. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to have you click on the link. It should be a website called Didax, and I'm going to go ahead and have you click on that link, and it's going to give you Algebra Tiles Virtual Manipulative. So I'm going to click on that in just a moment. And then what I'm showing you right now is x squared plus 6x. So here we go. I'm in the algebra tile, the virtual algebra tiles, and I want to go ahead and represent x squared, or 1x squared, and 6x. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead. I tend to like to model this in my upper left-hand corner. So I know I have 1x squared, and I know I'm going to need 6x tiles. And for our purposes right now, everything is positive. And one more. Okay, so on my expression map, I have 1x squared plus 6x's. Now the goal here, treat this like a puzzle. We want to try to make a square out of this. So think about this. A square has equal side lengths. It has equal dimensions. So I need to somehow arrange these 6 tiles, these 6x tiles with this 1x square to create or start creating a square. So I can see, for instance, that the side length here of my x tiles, they line up nicely. And so I'm going to play with this. Now, if I were to just kind of line them up like this, I'm just kind of messing around here. That is not a square. Good effort, Mrs. Carvajal, but that is not a square. So remember, a square has equal side lengths. So I'm going to need an equal amount of x tiles on each side. And I'm kind of playing around with this, but I noticed that when you put your mouse around the upper right-hand corner, there's this little white arrow. Click on it, and it will turn your tiles 90 degrees. I just discovered that a couple minutes ago. So once again, I'm going to turn it sideways. And there we go. Well, I do now have equal dimensions. I have x by 1, 2, 3. So once again, this dimension here is x, and each of these side lengths of the x tile is actually 1. Remember, this is 1 by x. So this almost looks like a square. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to take a screenshot. Everyone's laptop or home computer is a little different, so please do take a moment to learn how to screenshot. I'm going to just take a screenshot right there. I'm going to go back to my document, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it there. Okay, so for the first part, I call it 1A. I would like you to just show me how you've arranged those two terms to start making your square. And now the second thing I'm going to do in part B is I'm going to go ahead and finish completing my square. So there we go. Now there is a nice hole right here. If I could fill this in, this would create a larger square, a perfect square. So I'm going to go ahead and see how many ones tiles I can nicely tuck in here to fill the square. I like how this website kind of organizes them better than I probably would have in the classroom. So let's go ahead, and it looks like, last one, it looks like I officially have completed this square. So I would pause right here, and I'm going to take my last screenshot for this problem. And I'll come back to my document and paste it in this section. So keep in mind, the two different things I'd like to see is what your square looked like before you have quote unquote completed it. So this is the original expression, and this is now when you have completed the square. Okay, now simple question next. How many ones tiles did we add to complete the square right now? So I see I have 3 by 3. I added 9 ones tiles to complete my square. Bam, pretty easy. And I appreciate in advance if you could please use full and complete sentences. I'll just put 9. Okay, and then what are 2 ways that we could rewrite the expression now? So keep in mind, right here, this was my original expression. I'm actually going to just kind of copy it and paste it real quick. Okay, so this was my original expression, but now it is something different. So I am going to go back and erase this because this is no longer my expression. My expression is x squared plus 6x, but I added those 9 ones. So I do have to show here that I did add these 9 ones. And I don't know, what color am I feeling like right now? Purple. Purple's a great color. Okay, so I want to show that my new expression is now x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, I have to add in those ones. And let's go ahead and top it off with factored form. If I were to factor this out, remember I have a dimension of x plus 3 by x plus 3. So x plus 3, and I could write this. But I actually like you to write this a little bit more precise. So instead of the quantity of x plus 3 times the quantity of x plus 3, we know that that's the quantity of x plus 3 squared. So just to kind of remind you, if you go over here to Format, Text, Superscript, and go ahead and enter your square. And remember, you cannot get out of the square unless you click on Superscript one more time. So that's basically the 3 steps. The 4 steps rather, I'd like you to do for each section. So I'll mono one more a little bit quicker. So once again, x squared plus 4x. So I have my 1x. I could probably move a little quicker on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, I want to arrange them in a tile. By now I know my square is going to have equal dimensions, equal side lengths here. There we go. This one's nice and simple, thank goodness. And then again, how many ones tiles? Oop, I almost forgot. I gotta take a screenshot. Before I add my ones, take a quick screenshot. I'm typing it back in there, get that on there. I got my screenshot. So by now, yes, I did ask you to do 3 of these, but after the first one, it should go a little quicker. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show what it looks like to complete that square. Bam, bam. And it looks like I'm going to be adding 4 tiles, or ones tiles, I should say. One little guy. Taking my screenshot, taking it back to the document, so you kind of get into a groove here. All right, and then once again, how many ones tiles? I'm gonna do a quick math hack here. I added 4 ones tiles to complete my square. Okay. What are the 2 ways that we could rewrite our expression? So once again, kind of cheating a little bit and using my copy and paste function, which is, we call that being efficient, not cheating, right? Okay, so sorry, Daniel Alcocer. Oh my goodness. Sorry about all these emails. This is my life. Okay, and again, so that was the original expression, x squared plus 4x. However, we went ahead and we added 4 ones. Okay, and just so I'm staying consistent here, I decided I wanted to use my purple. I would always encourage, you can use whatever colors you want, just keep consistent. It's really helpful to yourself and myself when we grade. All right, and then once again, factored form. I know that this is the quantity of x plus 2 squared. Go back in there, put my little square, bam, and get out of there. Okay, and that's pretty much it. those 4 steps. So once again, quickly recap up over here. We have the starting of your square. We have your square completed, how many ones you've added, and what are the 2 ways. There are technically 3 ways, but what are the 2 ways? These are the 2 ways I want to see that you can rewrite that new expression. And please keep in mind, you do have a 3rd example on your end. Again, your document is just slightly different. So you do that 3rd example. And that's it for Monday's lesson, Monday/Tuesday's lesson. That's it. You can pause there. If you're dying to move on and you're like, you know what, I see some patterns right now and today while it's fresh in my mind, please go ahead and move on to part 2 and 3. But part 2 and 3, you can actually kind of save. That is going to be Wednesday/Thursday's lesson, okay? But since we're here, let me go ahead and explain how we do that. So for the second part, again, on Wednesday, start thinking about another way to complete the square without using algebra tiles. So imagine I took that website away. Imagine I took the tiles off your desk. You're going to go ahead and explain to me how you would solve this expression. Once again, I cannot emphasize this enough, without using algebra tiles. I can't stop you imagining them, but don't physically use them. Okay, how many ones would you have added? How many ones tiles? What are the 2 ways you would write the expression? And give me a quick little explanation as to how you did it in your head without those tiles. And part 3 is asking you something very similar, only imagine there are no more numbers now. Okay, so very abstract thinking for part 3. Explain how you would complete the square of any quadratic without using those algebra tiles. Please remember that the standard form of a quadratic is written as ax squared plus bx plus c. So your explanation should not involve numbers, but they can involve the a, b, and c values. You would just say ABC. And then hint, think of what you did in part 2. What was the overall general process that you used to answer your question over here in part 2? Okay. And again, suggested vocabulary. You don't have to use all these words, but you may want to consider using the phrase standard form, factored form, quadratic, square or squaring, sum, difference, product, quotient, or alternative ways of saying add, subtract, multiply, divide. Coefficient, again, refers to the numbers like a and b that are in front of your variables. Dimensions, factors, and you know, while I'm here, I'm actually going to add the word constant. So constant is what you would call c right there. It's just a number with no variable. Okay, so that's pretty much it. And just quickly recap, part 1, the 3 problems are Monday, Tuesday's lesson, and part 2 and 3 are Wednesday/Thursday's lesson. You can complete it at your own pace. Together, everything is due by Thursday at 3:15. Okay, take care.